Well, welcome back to the Whole Pineapple for one of our special snack editions. We are so fortunate to welcome back Jamie Mangaga to the program for another Mindful Moment with Jamie. And today we even have Ruby with us.
I'm here.
It's been since back in early season one that we had all three together. So welcome,
Yeah, I feel
everybody.
so special.
And the reason we're doing this special, all three of us, is we did want to make an announcement. And we know that there's nothing fertility patients hate worse than surprise announcements. And so we didn't want it to come as a surprise, but we are going to be wrapping up the whole pineapple. This is going to be something that it's not ending tomorrow, but as we head into fall and we're probably going to be having our final episodes around the end of November. And we just wanted to give everybody that advance warning. And that's kind of why we need Jamie here to help us process and talk through it.
Yeah, we wanted to give ourselves and you all a little bit of notice because we didn't want to just drop off, especially because we know this has been a big support for a lot of people. So when you have a support system that just kind of drops out, that could be really hard. So we wanted to make sure that we give fair enough warning. And that's why we decided to bring Jamie in, because we need it too.
Jamie's always our crisis counselor. And
Yes.
and we are gonna, all the old episodes are still gonna be there. So if you're someone that picks and chooses, do not worry. We're gonna be keeping that whole back catalog, which is fairly robust right now. And so, there definitely are some episodes that if you haven't listened to them in the past, they're still gonna be there for you to listen or share in the future. And we still have more upcoming. There's definitely some stuff that we've recorded, not released.
Some really
We've got
good
some
ones.
plans, some
Yeah.
really good ones. So don't give up. But we didn't want to suddenly announce at the end of the year that this was the finale without giving people a little bit of warning. And that's what we're here to talk about today with Jamie. Like, how do you process this concept of letting go of something? So welcome back, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Hi, thank you guys. It's always such a pleasure to be here.
And we thought this is a good topic and we weren't sure exactly how to phrase it. And then you had like the best sentence. So why don't you tell everybody what you said that you were trying to like think of how to frame it in your mind?
Well, I think this is perfect timing for me too, right? Because I've been going through a transition of my own. So, what I was sort of thinking and what's been sort of going through my mind recently is the difference between letting go and giving up. Because I think words are really powerful and there is a really big difference between those two things.
No, that's huge. And I feel like that's something that, I mean, everyone struggles with in life, but especially someone that's been dealing with their fertility, to make any kind of change can feel like you're giving up, right? But you're right. Sometimes things happen where we have to make changes and we have to let go of ideas about how we thought something would work for us. And
Mhm.
that's not the same as giving up in any means.
Yeah, and this is particularly hard for me too, because I'm the type of person that, like, even if I'm like reading a book and I don't like it,
I was about to say the book thing. I have hate read so many books where I was like, why am I reading this stupid
finish
book?
it. I have to finish it. And so to me, that would feel like giving up. And so that is something that I am working on too.
Well, it's been something that I've been having to work on personally too. I think, one of the big differences that came up for me as I was sort of pondering those two phrases was, letting go seems a lot more gentle, right? It seems
For
Mhm.
like
sure.
it's infused with a little bit more of knowing that it's right, or it's the right time, or it's the right option with what you have available to you in that moment, right? It's just you've reached a place where you can know kind of with a fuller heart that you've done the things that you can do, right? You've put in what you can, and so you can walk away with a little bit more resolve, I think. Whereas I think giving up is a lot more has that like panic and doubt and sort of like radiates feelings of frustration for me. I think that there's this sense that maybe you're, not willing to kind of seek that deeper understanding or whatever it may be, it just has such a negative connotation. But I also wanted to speak to that too, and I'll come back to it because giving up has, when I was kind of digging into this, it has two meanings. One is negative and one is not. And so that's
Mm.
worthwhile, I think, looking at too.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
so much to unpack. I know I for some reason I love all the imagery you've used in various talks, and you talk a lot about like hands under the faucet and the water, and like I think about when I think about letting go, I think about like, letting go of a balloon, right? And like I want to like I'm going to
Mm.
let that balloon go. I'm going to like watch it drift away. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen, but that's very different than me just like popping the balloon and being like done, goodbye,
Sure.
and it's over exactly
Sometimes you want to
because
pop the balloon, but
yeah, but sometimes letting go means that you don't know exactly what's going to happen in the future either. And
hmm
that's another thing that for me is different. It's
Mhm.
that sometimes when you talk about giving up, and I have thoughts too about the two different meanings, but sometimes that's like closing a door, and letting go, I think, is more you're just accepting that you don't know the path anymore, and you're maybe
Mhm.
letting go of your preconceived notions about what that path would be.
it feels like just a little bit more better with the heart than
Hmm.
giving up. It
Mhm.
just seems like more of like your heart is more open to what's
Mhm.
going on.
And even for the whole pineapple too. I mean, we're ending our scheduled every week episodes. There are reasons that it's become unsustainable, but that doesn't mean that there couldn't be a scenario in the future where we could revisit it too. That's the other part of letting go for me is it's not like you're saying something will never happen. It's just you're closing that chapter on what you thought it was going to be, but you
hmm
still have that possibility for a future, and that future may end up being even better. It's just not what you envisioned. And I think that's
Mhm.
what I spend a lot of time talking about with fertility patients is that you're kind of having to, for every patient that comes to the clinic, they've already had to let go. They've had to let go of the dream of how easy they thought it was going to be.
Mhm.
Like everyone
Yeah.
kind of had their vision for when they were ready, it would just happen
Mhm.
the way they wanted to have happen. And so even the fact that they're doing any sort of testing or treatment or coming to see us, they've had to let go of some sort of that process. And I think that's what can seem so hard about treatment is it's like every week is a new thing that someone is making you let go of in terms of what you thought the experience would
And
be.
putting the control into somebody else's hands too,
Yeah.
like by the time
Hmm.
they come to see us, they've already gone through so much that.
Yes, I want to let go of the balloon. I don't want someone to come take my balloon. That feels a lot worse.
Right.
So,
But I mean, I think that the fact that you're bringing up control is really important too, because both of these things have so much to do with control, and we don't feel comfortable as humans when we don't have it. Right. I mean, when we're
yeah.
forced out of our comfort zone and we don't have control over our lives, and sometimes it feels scary or overwhelming to kind of move forward on a path that we can't see clearly outlined for
So
ourselves.
that's what I thought of when you said two different meanings of giving up. I think of the good giving up is giving up your control. That's what I think of. So I'm interested in what you think because I think sometimes it is that, yeah, I am giving up my belief that I can like make the life happen that I want.
Yeah.
That there are a lot of things that are out of our control, and we have to accept that. Otherwise, it just weighs on us because
Hmm.
you can't push through everything. Sometimes there are things that are just what they are.
The other piece for, the more positive element of giving up is a lot to do with sacrifice, I think. Sometimes we have
Mm.
to make sacrifices so other areas of our life can be better. Like we sacrifice things sometimes for our families or sacrifice things, for loved ones or people that we care about. Like maybe we'll sacrifice some time we didn't really have for something that's really meaningful for, someone else or for ourselves even. So there is giving up in that sense as well. It's for betterment, I guess.
That's definitely something. I mean, when people are trying to get pregnant, you're giving up alcohol, you're giving up this, you give up all these other things that
Yes.
you like took enjoyment in because you're searching for that other goal. So, life is all about the compromises, but sometimes you reach a point where is the compromise serving you with everything else that's important in your life, And
Hmm.
that's something that comes up for people at all different areas of their life. And that's just a skill that none of us are great at.
No, I'm terrible at
you
it.
know, we
Yeah.
go back to your ball analogies from season one. We all want to like hold all the balls in our hand all the time and not let anything go and not give up on anything. But
Yeah.
that's not something that's sustainable forever.
Yeah. And
So
No.
sometimes letting go lets you, grab hold of something else that you didn't even know was possible too.
It's true. That's so true. And also, letting go is really natural. And you guys know me, I'm always talking about trees and stuff, but
Yeah.
it's really important to me. And I spent some time in the forest this last weekend and, was just sort of trying to be really present. And it made me think about things in nature that let go, right? Like dandelions,
Yeah.
right? Dandelion
Yeah.
seeds, like they hold it until it's really ready. And then when it's ready, the dandelion lets the seeds go, right? And kind of watches them float away. Kind of makes me think of your balloon kind of
Yeah.
floating
Or
away.
you think
And
about the little seed spinners, the little things that like look
Yeah.
like the
The little
little
maple.
windmills float away.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
like they have to fly far away to be able to plant a new tree somewhere else. They
hmm
don't just drop directly at the base of where they were. They're made to travel and to
right.
drift. And that's how they can find a home elsewhere. So yeah, look at nature giving us good analogies.
But imagine if a dandelion was going to give up, right? If a dandelion was going to
Yeah.
give up, wouldn't release anything, right? It would just be like,
Yeah.
whoa,
Those are
close
mine.
down. So, I mean, it's so different. There's an openness, there's an acceptance, there's hope, right? Along with letting
Mhm.
go that I think is so meaningful.
So you have your nature, I have my Disney, and I think about in Rapunzel when they're floating and like they're going to see the floating lights finally, and she's like upset because she's like, "But what if it's? I've been dreaming about this forever. Like, what if it's not everything I want it to be?" And Flynn Rider's like, "Well, then you find a new dream." And so
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
can be us. Sometimes you find a new dream, and it doesn't mean that you don't still feel some hurt about the dream
Hmm.
you thought you had. That's the other thing. Like letting go of something doesn't mean that it's not going to still hurt,
Right.
but
Yeah.
you're letting that go to make the space for something else. And that's has something that can be exciting as well.
Oh no, now I feel like I need to have like a nutrition or a grunge music analogy and I don't have one.
That's okay. We're going to still record a final episode. Today is
I'll
not the
think
final
about it.
episode. So between now and our closure, that'll be Ruby's homework. She'll come up with a nutrition or final grunge
Yes. And
fact to
I
end
can't
everything.
let things go, so I will have to for closure.
Well, Jamie, this is wonderful. You always make me feel better. And I can't wait to hear the meditation you have for our listeners. And listeners, we will still be here. So you keep on listening through, end of November, possibly early December. And we will let you know when it finally is the official final episode. But we wanted to give you some warnings so you can start your own process of letting go of us.
Our email will still be up too. So if you need to send us a quick message or something, it's still at thewholepineapple@gmail.com.
We love you. Thank you for all the support over the years.
In the spirit of letting go, today's mindful moment is about giving yourself compassion in a difficult situation. So let's begin by taking a moment to settle our body into a comfortable position. You may choose to close your eyes or keep them slightly open with a soft focus looking downward a few feet in front of you. Gently allow your spine to lift and your shoulders to soften. Today, we will practice self-compassion. Taking a full breath in and a long, slow breath out. I invite you to think of a situation in your life right now that's difficult, or maybe about something in the future you worry will be difficult. Maybe you're feeling a little stressed, or you're worried about something happening, or perhaps there's tension in one of your relationships. This practice is only for a few minutes, so choose something that isn't too difficult. When you're ready, bring this challenging situation to mind. What happened? Or what do you think might happen? And now that you're holding this in your mind, I invite you to consider these things. First, simply acknowledge that this really is a difficult situation. And I invite you to find language that works for you to label what's happening right now or what you worry might happen in the future. Perhaps this really is a tough situation. Maybe I feel a little afraid about this. I worry what will come next. Whatever language you choose, just bring mindful awareness to what is happening right now in this moment. Next, acknowledge that difficulty is a part of life. It's something that you have experienced before, and everyone around you has experienced before too. Remind yourself of our common humanity. That difficulty is a part of our experience, and like everything else, it too will shift. Finally, I invite you to say to yourself from your mind, "May I be kind to myself in this moment." And acknowledge that no matter how hard the situation is, you can still be kind to yourself. Use any language you'd like that supports this sense of kindness. Perhaps choose wording you would offer to a friend going through something similar. "I'm here for you. Even though this situation isn't okay, you will be okay. You are loved." And if you like, rest your hand on your heart, offering kindness to yourself. Take a moment to take that kindness in, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And now, with that recognition of compassion for yourself, finish with a full, deep breath in and a slow breath out. Feel free to stay in this moment for as long as you wish. From my heart to yours, namaste.